All right. I guess that we can get started. This webinar is also recorded for those that have to drop off, or for those that are concerned that they might be missing an important part. So we'll also share the recording afterwards with everybody that signed up. If there's also any friends that you have that want the recording and they could not join, ask them to get in touch with us, or obviously forward it to them. With that being said, I think we can start. I'm Belinda. I'm the co-chair of Women of Influence, and we're super excited to host this webinar again to give you some tips and tricks around application and the whole process around it. So if you have any questions, please just drop them in the chat, and we'll make sure to address them, and you can drop them anytime. With me, I have Joanna, who is working on the judging process together with me. She's also a past winner and a 3-time nominee. So you will be getting a lot of amazing information from her. But Joanna, do you also want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. I see at least another winner here, Felicity. Hi, Felicity.
Hi, Felicity.
Good to see some familiar names and also some new names here. So yeah, really nice to be here. Belinda and I are here basically to give you an overview of the Women of Influence Awards and also answer any questions that you may have. There are no silly questions at all. So please use this forum as a chance to ask us anything or mention anything. As Belinda said, I've been involved with the AmCham Women of Influence Awards for, gosh, it must be about 12 years now or so. I was nominated 3 times before I won. I won the Entrepreneur Award. And I think that's important to say because it's a prestigious award, and it is difficult to win, and it's absolutely worth applying again. So if you have applied before and you haven't been successful, please, please, please try again. Don't just submit the same application as you did last time. Think about it and think about perhaps how you can, tweak it a bit or add new information to it. And we're going to talk to you later about the key things to put into the application. I've also been a judge for many years, and now I'm on the steering committee and working with Belinda in organizing, sharing the information, and also liaising with judges.
All right, then I guess we can dive right in. And again, if there's any questions that you already have now, please just drop them in the chat, and we'll also make sure that we're gonna address them. And as Joanna said, no question is too silly or whatever. Every question is really valid. So please, make sure you drop them in. So I guess we can start right now by just giving you a bit of an overview in terms of the awards, and I can share my screen with you to talk about that. So we are in the 21st awards of Women of Influence, and the theme this year is called Beyond Boundaries, Accelerating Transformative Leadership. I guess first and foremost, why we chose that topic is because when we looked into how we could empower women and the skills that are needed in the future, we thought that this title and this theme that will carry us throughout the next upcoming months and before the award ceremony is really fitting. Also because, it's not just empowering or accelerating women that are already in C-suite, but also accelerating women that are young professionals, or for example, that are in middle management and want to get to the next stage. So we have monthly upcoming events before our big gala and summit in March next year. So our summit will happen in the week of International Women's Day, leading up then to our big gala at the Fullerton the week after. The reason also why we are doing it now in this format is because we received so much feedback this year after our 20th summit and gala that the content part was so interesting, but it was a lot to put it all in one day. So we will have it throughout the whole week before the conference, but this also means that we can partner up, for example, with different organizations, host it also in their amazing offices, and of course also utilize the AmCham Hub. So from breakfasts to networking events to thought leadership, there's going to be all kinds of different events leading up to the big gala. And there will be also different ticket options. So even if you can't attend the gala, for example, but just want the content pieces, we'll also have different ticket formats, just so also to make it much more accessible. So if you want to get involved with whether that's sponsorship or also, of course, getting involved with our upcoming events that we have, let us know. I'm super excited also to always collaborate with anyone. So also first and foremost with this award, you don't have to be an American citizen or working for an American company. So really important is actually the impact that you or your organization are making in Hong Kong. And if we look now into the award categories, we kept the ones like last year the same. The only thing we changed was that from leading champion for women, this category is now giving out 2 awards, 1 to males and 1 to females. So acknowledging also the male allies that are doing the amazing work here in Hong Kong. And of course, we have like young change makers, leading women entrepreneur, women director or executive, women change maker in STEM, women in arts, sport, and leisure. So it doesn't have to be a woman that's working across all 3 categories, but in one of them. And of course, women champion of disadvantaged group and minorities and best company champion women. And if you click on each of, if you actually go into the application form, you'll also see more details. So what we also wanted to do this year is to make it more clearer, for example, the requirements when we talk about leading women entrepreneur, what that means, and also make things also easier than for the judges at a later point. So what I'm talking about, for example, if you click on one, fill out your information, in the next step then it will take you to more details and criteria that we're suggesting for the award. Again, these are suggestions. If you still think that if you don't fit all these suggestions but you still are deserving of the award, please go and apply. The one thing that we really want to emphasize on is that you're going to apply for the award and you're not going to wait to be nominated. Because also as an FYI, the judges are not going to see if somebody nominated you or whether you actually applied for the award. So that's also really important to mention. If you feel the need to be nominated, let us know. I'm more than happy, Joanna, and I'm more than happy to nominate you. The only step that would be added then would be that Adil from AmCham sends you an email that you're nominated and then sends you exactly this application form. So, you know,
yeah. There's a question. There's a question from Eleanor. Does having multiple nominations help? It doesn't help.
No.
Because the judges won't know how many nominations you had. And in fact, we're really trying to empower women and ask women to apply themselves. I'm actually trying to remove the word nominate from the process because it sounds like you can't do it yourself, but apply yourself and just cut out the middleman or middlewoman, I suggest.
But what you could do, Eleanor, is you could ask these people that nominate you actually to write you a reference and, you know, get these references together and submit them with your application form. So that's something that you can consider. That's also something that quite a few people actually do. And that would be a much better way to use the resources of the people that want to nominate you. Do we have any other questions already?
Maybe I can talk a little bit about the application itself. So as Belinda said, you don't have to be American. There are criteria listed at the top of each category. And sometimes people aren't sure which category to nominate themselves or to apply for. You can only apply for one. So for example, you may be the founder of an NGO. So then should you go for the entrepreneur category, or should you go for the disadvantaged groups category? I mean, you could go for either. So really the important thing is to look at the criteria that are being asked and see which ones you fit most closely. And when we say fit most closely, some of them are quite easy to answer. So for example, in the entrepreneur category, it will actually ask you for your growth, your numbers, to show your growth. In the disadvantaged category, they will have different criteria. So you may also feel like you don't want to show your numbers, for example, and you would rather then go for the disadvantaged category. So have a look at the requirements and then have a look at the questions that they're asking and see which one suits you better. So that's the sort of black and white information. The other thing is, it's called they're called the Women of Influence Awards for a reason, because they are to show your influence. So think about, where do you demonstrate the most influence? In which category? And by influence, we mean, where are you having the most impact? So are you having the most impact in a corporate environment, in an entrepreneurial environment, as a purpose-driven organization with individual people or different sorts of people? Think about your influence. Don't just take your CV and dump it into this application. Actually think about where your influence is coming from and where it's spreading out to and how much impact you're creating. That's one important thing. And the other important thing is it's an award about women. So think about your influence generally, but also think about specifically how you're helping to raise up other women. So you may be running the most amazing company or charity, which is serving the whole of the community, which is great, but mention, if you want to, get yourself noticed, mention specifically what you do for women as well as that. Yeah. So for corporates, for example, they might have multiple initiatives, but think about the initiatives that you're doing for the women in the organization. Yeah. I think these are two really important factors that actually differentiate applications, because it's difficult for the judges, because everyone that submits is really strong. And then the judges are presented with a number of people that they have to compare. And we have at least 3 judges per category. One is a guy, one is a man, and the other 2 are women. And then we make sure that it's a diverse range of judges as well, different ethnicity, different backgrounds, etc. I mean, obviously they are experts in the field of that category, so that they can really be legitimate judges. But
and it's yeah, and we have over 70% non-Caucasian judges, also like making sure that there's diversity there. And also one of the things that we also really put emphasis on is that even if you, for example, applied last year and you think that, why should I apply again? The same people will look at it again. So no, the judges are completely new. So out of all the judges, we have last year's winners that are automatically invited to judge, but then also new people. So every judge is only allowed to judge every 3 award circles. So you can be sure that your nominations are gonna get under a fresh set of eyes. So it does not mean that, just because you did not win last year, that your chances are really, really low this year also. I think that also, I guess, one really interesting thing, because I don't know how many of you in this call right now were at our event that we hosted last week, where Joanna was actually speaking also on the impact that this prestigious award had on her professional journey. So maybe Joanna and also Felicity, in case you can unmute yourself, because you just won recently last year, if also you want to maybe mention a few words about like what impact this made, because as Joanna mentioned, this is a really prestigious award. You don't have to pay for it. It's really, 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 high profile. So that, would be great. Maybe if Felicity and Joanna could mention a few sentences about it.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously really proud of this award. We think it's the gold standard because, yes, you don't have to pay for it. You know, there are lots of awards now out there, some of which charge you. But the other good thing about this is the integrity of the award. So what happens is for each category, all the nominations are looked at by the judges, and then 3 finalists are decided for each category. And then there's a winner. Due diligence is conducted on those finalists just to make sure that what they have said is true. And I think that's something that also sets the awards apart from other awards. So there is due diligence conducted by an external company. In terms of what it meant to me, I actually won 10 years ago. I can't believe it was 10 years ago. And interestingly, it was actually at a personal low point for me in my entrepreneurial journey, because I was going through, the business had been fantastic for years. And then the year I won, which was 2014, we had a downturn. But I still put in my application based on the previous information. And that was the 3rd time I had applied. The 2 previous years, I was feeling on top of the world and strong. And was the 3rd year, and I was thinking, oh, do I do it or not? I was worried about business. I thought, okay, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to do my best. And in fact, that was the year that I won. So when I won, first of all, I felt like I can't believe I won this year when it's all feeling like it's falling apart right now. And of course, no one knew that because I had my confident face on. But it also just gave me that boost. It just made me feel like, okay, this is what it means to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to have bad years. It's going to go up and down. I'm not necessarily going to get an accolade when I feel like I'm at the peak of what I'm doing. Actually, it's come at a time when, if anything, I needed it more this year than any other year. So from that point of view, it just gave me that boost. It gave me the confidence. And also it's just a great way to promote yourself, dare I say. And also it gives you access to this fantastic networking circle of people. And all of the Women of Influence committee and people involved in it is already a fantastic networking circle. But then when you sort of meet with the other finalists and award winners, you tend to create these really, really deep bonds with them. You feel like you've traveled the same journey. And it's some of the people I have met through AmCham Women of Influence are my best friends now, all my best advisors, mentors, shoulders to cry on, whatever it is that I need at any particular time. And I think this applies to any category, not just the entrepreneur category. So yeah, over to Felicity. Can't hear you. Oh, by the way, I met Felicity through AmCham Women of Influence, actually. I've just remembered, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. Clearly everything that Joanna just said. Personally, for me, winning the award was tremendously humbling. And at the same time, I really felt it was a personal acknowledgement of what I had dedicated myself to for, dare I say it, over 40 years. And also, it was a tremendous acknowledgement for, if you like, being a lot of the work that I did was behind the scenes, so to speak. Right. So, there's a lot, there's kind of a push or a thinking that, in order to get your voice out there, you have to write a book, you have to have a blog, you have to have, a website, you have to do all of this self-promotion. And that never resonated for me. So, I don't have a book, I don't have a website, I don't have a blog. I'd rather put my head in a bucket of mud than do all of that, right? And so a lot of the work that I've done over the years has really been, one-to-one or small groups, or pulling people together, or standing for women, or finding a way to have a voice that, yes, had a platform, but, it clearly wasn't about me. Am I making sense, ladies? Yeah. And so the award was also an acknowledgement that, for me, that it's really okay to find our own path, right? and to be self-expressed in the way that's honest for us. So that's one part of that. And as I say, it's been a tremendous honor to be known in the community and to be honored in the community and to be one of, you know, who's somebody who people took time and effort to research and applaud and to give a platform to. The other piece about the Women of Influence Awards, because I was on the part of the committee and the steering committee for, I think, something like 12 years or 10 years, whatever it was, is there's lots of ways you can set about promoting a conversation and having a conversation, if you like, have momentum, right, when you're making change. And, you know, the idea for us of people paying for the award, you know, is anathema, I think, to what it is that we stand for. So, you know, there have been various conversations over the years about how to do the awards differently. Maybe we should outsource certain things. Maybe we should outsource the judging. Maybe we should, you know, being creative about the way that we do things. However, my contention was always, no, part of the power and the strength of developing a new conversation and then having a new conversation take root throughout the community is the number of people who are engaged, actively engaged in leading that conversation. So, you know, everybody's critical in elevating and deepening and promoting that which we stand for. You know, whether you're a judge, whether you're a nominator, whether you are a winner, whether you're, you know, and it come to the events, in whatever way you participate, that's where the traction happens. Yes. So, you know, for me, the structure, how it's structured, and Joanna already spoke to the integrity of the awards and the diligence of the awards. But it's also critical the number of people who are engaged in being leaders in that conversation. And the way that the awards are set up allows for that, in fact, promotes that. And I really, and the fact that it's with the American Chamber, you know, the Chamber puts on the most events. I think we have the greatest number of members. You know, this isn't about, oh, look at us, this is great. For the Chamber, I was looking at Ellen, and Ellen is a key player in the British Chamber, right? So it's not, you know, it's not a compare and contrast about the chambers. It just is the fact that the American Chamber has such a presence in our community allows for us to have a vehicle through which to elevate and amplify the voice. That's my point with that. So, and it's been a joy, you know, for all of the years that I've had the honor to participate in awards. It's been a joy. And I just would underscore what Joanna already said about the relationships that are built. You know, they're founded in commitment and purpose and stand. And, you know, for me, there's nothing more powerful than that.
That's so beautiful, Felicity. Thank you so much. So Felicity now sits on the AmCham board. And this year, when we had our big gala in March, she was also one of the Ignite Talk speakers. So, you know, like even after winning last year, she's also still really, really involved. And as I echo on what Felicity and Joanna said, it's really this community. I was nominated, I think, the first in 2017. And I think after a while during COVID, I said, I really want to join this committee, these amazing women, because just also, yeah, of the work that they do and all the events that are happening and the quality also of the summit, of the gala, of the partnerships that we have. It's really great. And I mean, as you can hear, I'm also not American, but I still found my way to AmCham because I just think that amongst all the chambers, it's really one of the really best in Hong Kong to build your network, to learn new things, and also to collaborate. So for all of you who have not joined yet, there's a lot of different happenings that you can, for example, with a hub membership, also join for free. So Adil will send you more information. The AmCham team will send you more information also afterwards. Also, if you want to be, for example, involved in terms of our steering committee or a broader committee to help us also shape the agenda and the talks, you can also do that if you are an AmCham member. So with that being said, also, if you work for an amazing company that's doing really great work in advancing women's rights, women's agenda, please talk to your team about submitting also best company for women. And if you have questions around this category, we're more than happy to also have a one-on-one call with you. Like the AmCham team will also talk to you about it if you need support around submitting that, because we're also aware that this category might need a bit more preparation. Also in terms of, it's really about the impact that your company is making here in Hong Kong. So while, you know, if they do already global amazing initiative, that's great to mention it, but really focus also in your application about the footprint that your company is making in Hong Kong when it really comes to advancing women in the workplace, or obviously also male allies in the workplace. Can a person be on the steering committee and be nominated? They cannot. So everybody that is on the steering committee, they cannot be nominated. If they decide, for example, to become a nominee, they then would have to step down from the steering committee. So I hope that answers the question, but there's also the broader Women of Influence Committee. So please don't confuse both things. The steering committee, that's 16 people appointed that are working really on the mentorship program. And the other part is the programming part. So that's the part where Joanna and I are part of. But there's also a broader Women of Influence Committee that, for example, also Felicity is part of, and a lot of other people. So once you join AmCham, you can just tell them that you want to be part of Women of Influence Committee, and you will be part of it. So if you're part of this committee, yes, you can be nominated. You cannot be nominated on the steer co, but that only applies to 16 people. Any other questions? As also Eleanor already asked, you can only submit for one category. We know that might be hard for some of you to choose. If you really have big issues, also drop AmCham an email. We're more than happy to then also have a look and also direct you in the right category that we see most fit. So yeah, let us know if there's more questions around that. Anything else?
Hi, I have a question. Hi, I'm Zarina, and I'm considering joining the category of supporting disadvantaged groups. Now, I heard that you mentioned the impact is really focused on Hong Kong, right? So any humanitarian work while based in Hong Kong done elsewhere would not count, right? And
you can mention it at a high level in the context of your application, but the judges will be assessing the impact or the influence in Hong Kong. So you could be a global organization with a branch in Hong Kong, for example, or an office in Hong Kong, and then the work that you do in Hong Kong through the Hong Kong office will be what is being assessed. But the fact that you are part of a global organization is interesting and useful to know. Okay. But so you could say that in a few words, but then yeah, focus on what you do in Hong Kong. It's a Hong Kong award.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And especially this, sorry. Yeah, no, Joanna, you go ahead.
If you're an entrepreneur who has a business, which is registered in London, say, and you happen to do some work in Hong Kong, you have to make sure that what you're presenting is real business in Hong Kong, not London. Yeah.
And on top of that, also just back to the category for disadvantaged minorities. So this one is a really diverse category. So from social workers to also NGO CEOs, it's really broad. And again, what counts is not the title of this person, but actually the impact that they're making on the community in Hong Kong.
And
I see a question from Dave. Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
disadvantaged groups and minorities, by the way, doesn't just have to be people. We have had some nice strong applications from like, you know, animal charities and organizations like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And yes, into Daisy, in terms of actual submissions, can we add photos in the content? So you can actually submit additional documents. So for example, you could just get all these pictures together in a tidy PDF and submit them if they help your submission.
At the end of the application, you fill in the form, and then the last part is you can upload 3 documents. 3 PDFs. So you can upload any 3 PDFs. You can upload your CV, you can upload a reference, you can upload a media article about yourself, anything that to support your application.
If you have more than one reference, you can also, merge them all together into one PDF. I think, Eleanor, that would be something that we really recommend you to consider if you've not already, to really ask these people that want to nominate you to actually write you strong references.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, hi, my name's Barbara Wang. My question is, which category? I'm actually one of the first female NBA sports agent, so I could be in the category for sports. I also have a family office that I lead. So I'm a serial entrepreneurial. And then I also have an NGO, which I partner with Google Cloud. I actually have accelerated over 20 startups in the last 3 months. I've given out over millions of dollars in Google Cloud. And we just finished an event for empowering women in AI startup founders. And I was sort of inspirational in the fact that they were chosen not because they were women, they were chosen because they were the best. So which category does somebody like me apply in? And I'm sure like all the other women here are outstanding. So the categories are a little bit vague. So this is why I decided to listen in on the informational session, because I don't know which category to apply in.
So I strongly advise you to look at the specific question. So look at the criteria, the required criteria, and then look at the specific questions within each of the categories that you think you could apply for, and see which ones, which one resonates with you the most. So for example, in the entrepreneur category, it actually asks you about growth and to show numbers. So if you have great numbers, then you might consider doing that category. If you have, if you started a business and it's maybe quite new or whatever, and your numbers are not as striking yet, maybe don't do the entrepreneur category, pick another one. But I will also say that within each category, there are opportunities to mention how you create influence in other ways. It doesn't just have to be in the way that in the category that you have selected. So you'll see that, there's a question that says 300 words about how you create impact in the community, right? So let's say you chose entrepreneur. Yes, how do you create impact in the community as an entrepreneur? But there's also space for you there to add in a little bit more information about something else that you do. For example, if you organize NBA sports, then you can mention that, because that sounds very impressive, but perhaps with a slightly entrepreneurial slant, but you can still get it in there so that we know that about you and we know about all the diverse things that you do. Does that make sense?
Or adding on that, I also see that you're probably deciding between entrepreneur and champion for women. I see these 2 categories. I think that based on your really, really short description, I think most fit.
And also,
right
I think
now.
there's another one for I think executive women, because I sit on multiple boards actually as well. So I'm a little bit confused on which one to apply for. Sorry.
So Adil has just shared in the messages, he's just shared the link to the specific criteria for every single category. So if you're someone who can't decide which one, strongly advise you look at that document and actually go through it and highlight the ones that you believe you're strongest, and then go for the category where you have the most highlighted items.
And I think that in your case, you might also want to just decide on, based on also the sheet that was just shared, what direction, because obviously you could go the board direction and really make your application really strong on your commitment as a women executive, or for example, you could go the entrepreneurial road and really showcase the work that you're doing there. But I think that you will also have at one point to decide like what direction you want to go to. It does not mean that you, for example, you can't just win an award this year and in the upcoming years apply for a different category. That's totally possible too. But I think that you will need to make a decision and also then not make it too broad, especially if you're doing 1,000 things. I think that Joanna, yeah, you can probably also resonate with that might be the really, really hard part.
Yeah, hopefully if you look at that list and you go through that, it is quite specific. You can see where maybe you tick the most boxes, so to speak, which category. And then I would mention the other items that you've got in the impact answer as well, at least mention them.
I agree. And if you have any follow-up questions on this, feel free to get in touch with AmCham, and we'll then also help you. Do we have any other questions? Okay, if there's not more questions, we really, really encourage you to not wait to be nominated, but actually to submit your nomination yourself. As mentioned before, there's no benefit to ask somebody to nominate you, but it's actually one more step for everybody. And again, the application form is gonna be 100% the same. What you can do instead is to ask the people that you would ask to nominate you to actually write you, for example, a reference letter, which is much, much stronger, and especially like really showcasing the impact that you're making in Hong Kong when it comes to advancing women. There's also a lot of different events that are upcoming where you can meet us, meet like-minded women, and connect with a lot of different people. So as Joanna said, the network and the community that we're building here is really what makes Women of Influence what it is. The awards are really, really great, but it's just, I would say, the cherry on top of everything. And again, it's not even about winning. I think it's just being part of this much bigger initiative. And yeah, Joanna, do you also have any final words?
No, I just strongly encourage you to do it. Do it now. Yeah, don't wait. It's very worthwhile. And as Belinda said, it's not just about winning, obviously. It really is a great network of women. And you know, I think we all agree that the people that we've met along the way have really broadened our horizons and have really helped us in so many ways. So just do it for that alone. It's totally worth it.
I agree. And yeah, so we'll also be sharing the recording with everybody. So if some of your friends that could not join also are more interested in learning details, you can forward it to them. Join our upcoming events. We have one also happening next Thursday. In the follow-up email from this, we're also going to share the event with you. So please join. It's also a nomination mixer. So everybody that also submitted their application or a nomination, and they get a really, really big discount code actually to join. With that being said, thank you everybody so much. Thank you also, Felicity for speaking ad hoc. And yeah, hope to see you all soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.